What's up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic Cards Podcast, a show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavin Jones. Gavaroni. Gavin, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing... You know, it's a bit smoky out.
A little bit.
I smoked some meats this weekend, and really I should have waited a few more days, just set them out in some tin foil and let the sun and the air kind of cook it for us.
Yep.
But yeah, aside from... we watched an interesting fight this weekend.
We did. Watched the UFCs, and it was pretty cool. A lot of action. People breaking their legs out of nowhere.
It's kind of all over. We started off with Zombie Boy, which I feel weird saying a thing like that to a guy who I could just beat up all day and he'd keep coming at me.
Well, I want to say his name was Mutinho or Mutinho. That's burned in my brain, like that name, but also like the fight and how he was just the Terminator. His middle name, his nickname needs to be the Terminator because it was insane.
Or Tank, because I feel like if we magically get, like if a bunch of us get magically transported into a mythical world with monsters and dragon, that guy's the Tank. Throw him in some armor and he just won't go down.
Zombie Tank, maybe, or something.
Did he even get knocked down once?
No, he got fumbled a little bit. You know, like kind of dazed, but he just kept coming. Like it was nuts. Like he was a credit, collector or something. Like it was insane. Like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
He was ready to tell you about your terms of service,
Yeah.
whatever that joke is. I forgot.
Or if he was a Mormon knocking on your door, just would not take no for an answer, just showing up.
But how you feeling about the Conor McGregor fight? Because you're the biggest MMA fan here. That was
out of the two of us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I guess so. So. Yeah, I've gone back and forth, and I was listening to a bunch of analysts over the weekend, and actually they were able to pinpoint with that Conor fight where he broke his leg or where the initial like crack would have happened.
Oh, so they think,
and then he puts the weight on it.
The guy was right then.
Yeah, so Conor tries to throw this, or he throws this kick on Dustin Poirier, and Dustin blocks it with his elbow, the bone part of his elbow.
Right.
That happens like, 2 seconds before he goes back and puts weight on his foot, and then it cracks. So most likely it was there where he actually cracked. It wasn't kind of fluke, weird, like, oh, I stepped weird. It's like they never do that where they just step weird on accident and then break something. So
it was that instant, because I didn't think he got him with that kick.
He didn't land on his body or anything. Like it was a missed kick, but Dustin was blocking it with his elbow. And that's what caused the fracture. Then he puts weight on it, and it snaps in half. And it wasn't that like with being a Conor fan. I'm not upset when he loses, and if anything, it's like that's inevitable with if in the UFC. It's like eventually everybody loses, and I'm more a fan of like how they fight and can they pull themselves back up and deal with adversity. For me, the bummer was like the way he dealt with the loss. And you could also argue it's like heat of the moment, his leg's broken. They put a microphone on him, to interview him, but he's still saying like, I'm going to kill you and talking crap about his wife and stuff. It's like, dude, you lost. And like, what are you going to kill Dustin for? It's like, you guys are in a fight that you're getting paid for and you're professional fighters. You're going to kill him now because of that, because you lost. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. But he's angry, he's emotional.
Right.
I can get a little bit of that, but he's just kind of almost like on this downward spiral of, like this mental state where I don't know if he's fully there, and maybe because he's so rich and on top of the world, that's got to mess with you, where it's like you don't want to lose so much that it messes with your psyche. Like, I don't know what that even feels like. You could also, it reminds me of Ronda Rousey, the way she lost. So she was on top of the world in her fight class and kind of brought women's MMA like to the forefront. She lost in a spectacular way and then lost again, getting knocked out both times. And she just fully unplugged from the sport. She didn't want to do interviews. Like she couldn't really talk about it anymore. It's kind of weird, but it's like I've never dealt with being on top of the world and then losing it. And not only just like you lost a company or you lost a competition, you like got your ass kicked in front of millions of people. How does that feel? I can't imagine. So I don't know how Conor feels and what the right way to do. It just felt weird him saying, I'm going to kill you, and his legs in 2 pieces.
Well, the thing that seemed weird, and I don't know too much about this, but it seemed like when he kind of made his initial comeback into the sport, he seemed like he was trying to not be the bad guy anymore.
Yeah, there was that.
And that's all gone. It's all gone,
yeah. And even Dustin brought it up in some of the interviews before this last fight. They would ask him that, like the interviews would ask him, like, why has Conor kind of flipped on this? And he was thinking maybe Conor is the kind of fighter that needs to have that fire, that like drive to fight somebody. It needs to be like, there needs to be animosity. And so maybe he needs to create that in his brain. And some people might need that, like a driving force for why I need to defeat this person. But it's a sport, you know, like you're doing that for the sport and for money. So I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, the MMA world is talking about it a bunch. And I'm fully now like, Dustin is the man. The way he handled that, the end interview too was hilarious. It's just, I'd love to see him.
He
succeed.
did not feel bad.
No.
What did you think of? I feel like what's his name? So he fought Justin. So Justin came in looking good. I feel like he felt very consistent. Didn't look like he really changed up much from last time. It felt like Connor came in looking to kind of maybe take some of Justin's game plan, and he was trying to grapple. More. How'd you kind of feel about that change up?
I think Connor was kicking more. He was really active, like from the get-go. That's one thing about Connor is that a lot of his finishes are in the first, second round. So he has to come out hot and catch someone off. Like he's a counterpuncher, so he has to catch him off guard really quickly. And so he knew he had to do that. And so he's coming out, you know, full force. And Dustin just was prepared for it, was more collective. And when they went to the ground, Dustin was able to control it to a high capacity. And it's just, there's a lot to it. But like with Connor, he takes so much time off for whatever reason. He's fighting various boxers and stuff. And in the UFC, in that sport, you can't take time off because the game is always getting better. So if you go out for a year and come back in, everyone's better. So it's like, and with Dustin, he's been fighting just nonstop and climbing to the top. And so it's like, you just can't take a day off there or a year off, especially. So it was kind of like inevitable, but everyone, you know, we love Connor. Like we love to see him fight. So we're thinking like, maybe there's a chance he can come back. I think it's just, his run was awesome, but I think, you know, this is the end of it. Yeah. And I'll still watch him fight. Like he's still an entertaining fighter. It's just some of the drama I don't need anymore from him. It's kind of weird.
Do you think you could bring yourself to watch him do a fight where he's like one of the opening fighters?
I don't think they'd ever do that because he's such a draw. Even right now, like even if he keeps losing, he's such a draw. People want to see him. So you want to sell tickets, right? So you put them at the end. That's just like a promoter kind of thing. Like they always put that draw at the very end of the pay-per-view. But yeah, I don't know. But that first fight was nuts, and that was the opening of it. It's always a mixed bag. You never know when a good pay-per-view is going to happen because there's just so much that can happen. And sometimes all of them are duds and the main event's cool. Sometimes none of them are cool. Sometimes it's just like nonstop action the entire fight.
Just no idea what you're going to get. Sometimes it's like the middle event, which is the best. Like I still think my favorite fight I've ever seen was when those two women went at it. The goose egg. I think they threw, what was it, landed like 300 punches between them.
Yeah.
And it was
young
like
Jacek and this other Chinese fighter. They just kept going at it. At one point, young Jacek's head was deformed. It was swelled so much. It was nuts.
You see in between rounds trying to push her brain back into her skull, but I don't even think that was a co-main event. That was just a regular ass fight. Or like the my balls are hot guy. That was
Derek Lewis.
I'm never gonna forget that.
Yeah,
that was an opening fight.
There's so many special moments. That's why I love that sport. And there's a lot of like drama and like interpersonal stuff outside of the fights, and then just like trying to figure out what's gonna happen in the fight. Man, I wish I could bet. Like I tell you every time, it's like I wish I could freaking bet on these fights. It's probably best that I don't, so I don't lose any money. But I would love to do it.
If you throw like $5, like even we could do that. But that being said, we might pick the same fighter a lot of the time.
That's true. I mean, like you and me betting on something.
Yeah,
like
$10, something. Connor versus Justin. Which
yep.
But I think that would be where it's hard is we're gonna pick the same people. But you could throw some money on, I forget, was it DraftKings that they keep advertising? Like
they don't
throwing it in your face,
right? But in our state, you can't.
Oh,
you can't do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So otherwise, it's probably best that I could, because then now I can keep paying rent. I can pay my bills. If I could bet on that stuff, I would not. I would just be, owing money to loan sharks or whatever.
Well, did you play anything? Did you watch anything else?
I've been going through just like Andy Dufresne crawling through depression, right? So I've been playing a bunch of Breath of the Wild, and man, I love that game. And it's like I put that away for maybe 2 years since I played it. When you tried to get me back on, I completed it, loved it, dropped it for 2 years, couldn't find my original save, which is I'm actually happy that I couldn't, because I'm just playing it from the beginning again.
Sure.
And I love that fucking game. It's so good. And I mean, people have, I don't know how many awards they won, all that jazz when it launched. I know it got a lot of high praise, and it still does, but I just can't get over how awesome and almost perfect that game is to me.
And how different than it is from Well, the most modern Zeldas anyway.
Oh yeah, and that's another side of it. It's like they took the formula that needed to be not redrawn, but like manipulated, updated, and they did that in spades and added this like, not gravity mechanic, but like these elements to it, with the gravity, with the fire, with the magnetism, all this stuff that just works. And you have the cool art style. You can go anywhere. You can climb anywhere. It's just it's so good, so freaking good. But yeah, I've been playing that a lot.
Nice.
You were talking about this RTS game that caught your eye that you're not a big RTS fan.
No, I legit hate RTSs. I think the funnest I've had with an RTS was sort of Fractured Butthole, which I will forever say in the fastest run I can.
You have to.
And a little bit of Gears Tactics. That was fun, but it felt more like a Gears game. Which
I do remember you got into Gears Tactics.
I liked. I think you should try it, play the first 2 levels, and then do like I did, and never play it again. But I think it's worth 2 levels worth.
Okay. What was that RTS you're playing? Wildermyth.
I just remember I can't spell, but the Y is in the later half, which I was not doing.
Is this a newer game, older game?
This game just came out this weekend. So it is a sort of procedural. It's a tactics game, but it's equally, it's just as much about the tactics as it is about these in-between stories. So you go in, you do a fight. Well, there's also a third set, which is sort of this global management of capturing territory, which I don't find super interesting. But at the same time, because there's so much to do and not enough time to do it, you need to split your party, which has sort of a twofold effect, which is that A, you're going to be taking risks, and risks are fun and lead to interesting storytelling. Like, I've only had, so my first campaign went miserable, but my second campaign I only had 1 person die, and it was these two. It's hard to compress, but it was like this one guy who I brought on a little bit of the ways into my first campaign, and I was gonna have him be my second like tank / DPS, and I had this other gal who was already super tanky, super DPS-y, and they were dicks to each other. Like they came on, they were just butting heads. And then they became like my 2 favorite fighters. I'd throw them at the front line of anything, and they just whoop all this ass. And then I think partway through the second season, because it was brought up into 3 seasons, the first plot line, they got fucking married. And like I fucking love that, because they went from like hating each other to in love, and that was super sweet. And then one of the other characters had a kid, and she joined our party, and everyone got split up, and I ended up sending just the guy from the husband and the young girl into this fight that was tremendously over their head. I needed the full party there for that fight. I didn't know that going in. I later sent the whole party in because they went in and they were overwhelmed, and he sacrificed himself to save the daughter of their friend.
Really?
And that's just this I forget what the word is, but these stories that kind of create themselves by having all these systems running at once. And that was so just awesome.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions. So that mechanic you're describing, so that's just happening? Like the game will devise that, connect characters, make them sacrifice. That's happening independent of you?
So in that case, I did actually have him. I didn't know he was out of. So in D&D, you have, to my understanding of D&D, you have these things called death throws, which is where you lose all your health, and they say, okay, roll. And I think if you succeed, I want to say you come back to life, and you keep all your death rolls. But I think if you lose, then you can still come back to life, but you don't get your death roll. And once you're out of death rolls, then you're gone. And I think, so sometimes when you get knocked down, they're like, okay, let's run. So we run, and I thought I was going to be able to run with him, and I threw him in front. He's also the toughest motherfucker there. So I threw him in front to protect her because she was super weak. She actually looked just like that girl. But
then like my playthrough can be drastically different from yours.
Yeah, there's sort of these in-between stories, right? So this has, the first campaign has the same beginning and end of each of the 3 chapters.
Okay.
But everything that happens in the middle, like we discovered like this one character fell into a pit and discovered this rock, which they pried out. I could have chose not to pry it out, but I'm like, fuck that. I'm on an adventure. I'm gonna do stupid shit and see what happens. So he got blinded. And we came to, the rock was gone, and we climbs up. It turns out the rock is now embedded, whereas I was. Which the thing that kind of made me sad is I wanted that plot to come back. It kind of did, because I guess his feet turned into stone, and then some other things happened, so you can find stuff out about yourself. So all these crazy plots that fill out, and I haven't done the second campaign yet. But the storylines, the customization here, because these are all random, you can't. It kind of helps you to. You have to play everyone a little bit different, so it's really fantastic. There's going to be a lot of reading because all that's done with reading, but it's crazy what they can kind of do with this. And the actual RTS gameplay is very fun. The battles are over very quickly. But the disparity between your high level characters and your low level characters is crazy, but you have to train them up because the older ones, they're going to age out. They're going to retire. So you got to bring in the younglings. Because
you mentioned someone having a kid and them coming into play.
Yeah, they're level 1.
So like Oregon Trail, where it's time, like so much time goes by.
Yeah.
So it dies of dysentery.
So it is kind of sad seeing your characters like go gray in the hair.
Huh.
And you're like, no, but you're my favorite.
And you mentioned like as you're playing a campaign, is that like, that's not from beginning of the game to the end. Is that like a level? Like what describes the span of a campaign?
So there's different campaigns. They take place over basically like you have the start of the campaign, and it goes over so much time till you can complete this objective.
Okay.
But as time goes on, more and more enemies are introduced. The enemies get tougher, and you can see the upgrades to the enemies, and you can even spend like fate points to kind of stop some of these upgrades. So you can kind of curve that.
Huh.
And then your characters start looking cooler because they find all this crazy armor. And it's crazy how many times just in one campaign, they've taken a character that was lukewarm on or didn't like, and now they're like my favorites. I really need to play the next campaign. That being said, I still need to beat Dishonored 2 before Deathloop comes out. But this, once I started playing that first campaign, I couldn't stop until I was done. And also, I'm kind of upset though the way my current campaign ended. So only one person died, but my 2 least favorite people are now in a relationship, and they're gonna make the world's dumbest baby. I basically got like Shaggy but dumb, and just this gal that she was just like, oh, I want to go out into the field, I want to prove my worth. I'm like, all right, we'll give you that opportunity. And the first thing she does when she gets out into the field, she's like, I can't wait to retire. I'm like, fuck you, dude. We're saving the world. Right. You wanted to come with.
Get on board.
So it's really cool. It's also, I guess, you can play 3-player cooperative, which is sort of neat. I don't know how that really breaks down, especially when you go over 3 players in the field. But that would be stressful to me because you can't.
If you are playing cooperative, am I bringing my own characters, or is there going to be like the same characters playing together and then we keep our own storylines?
I would assume it's like you start a campaign and then everyone controls somebody.
Gotcha. I can't just like swap it in and out with my party that I've established, kind of thing.
I don't know. I would assume not.
Now, when you describe all this, and you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like that's what they've done. They've had all this mechanics in there for a while, for years now. I might have already asked you, like, do you have any interest in Dungeons and Dragons?
I do. It's really hard to, A, find enough people that are interested in it, and then B, find enough people that can show up on a consistent basis.
Sure.
Because there's so many people that will do 2 rounds of, Dungeons and Dragons and then just fuck off.
Yeah, see, that's me. You can't depend on me at all. But like anytime it's been described to me on paper, it's like, this sounds like this would absorb my life. Is that why I avoid this? Because I know I'm going to just jump into it, but it seems like so much fun.
Think about it like this podcasting. Like, you do it once a week. Yeah, It takes a little bit of time. Yeah, It takes a little bit of effort, but it's fun.
Right.
And yeah. The other thing, you might be interested. I still think you need to try like some board games first. But there is like a board game that does a pretty good job of taking you through these stories and really doing some crazy things called Gloomhaven. And somebody worked really hard and made a 29 card version of Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Because this is like a $200 to $300 board game box.
Yeah.
That is like this big and stuffed full. It is heavy. And someone knocked it down to like 29 cards, and they call it Gloomholden, because you can hold the entire game in your hand.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
I see.
but
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I know that, many people love this, and it's like a huge thing on the internet, just Dungeons and Dragons and card games in general, but there's some kind of like disconnect where it never quite connects with me, but people love it. People love it. And you got A-list celebrities playing it. There's the Joe DiMaggio guy, whatever that guy from...
I think his first name is Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not DiMaggio. It's the guy from Magic Mike. He's playing it, loving
married
it.
to What's Her Beautiful?
Sure. Who?
I think she's...
Gillian Anderson?
I want to say she's the gal from Modern Family, the Spanish one.
Oh, what's her face?
Yeah, super duper pretty.
Yeah, I forget her name, but I know what you're talking about.
You see them together and you're like, man, you two are like perfect.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There is no good for you in this scenario. It is, you both nailed
100%,
it.
100%.
Well, I think she did stripping too back in the day, didn't he? I think
that.
she used to be a stripper. If I recall this correctly,
the chick from Modern Family?
Yeah, I think she used to be a stripper. You're not going to find it much on it, but
well, I'm not going to find a video of it, sure.
And I think she helped him with Sofia Vergara. I think she helped him train for the role in Magic Mike because she knew of that world.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't think he was a stripper, but
good God. How are humans made that way? I don't understand. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know if it was going to be in her Wikipedia or something, but no, yeah, do your damn thing. Yeah, she's in a ton of movies.
That doesn't look like her in that photo.
Yeah, it's a weird photo, but yeah, that's her. But that's cool. Yeah, I don't know about the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing.
I did see. So I've seen some shots of like him and his dungeon lair doing the Dungeons and Dragons, and one of the people that does it with him is who's the guy that does Rick and Morty?
Rick or Morty, the one of the writers, or there's the guy who does the voice.
It's fucking Dan Harmon.
There you go.
Can you imagine role playing with that guy?
Yeah, I imagine he's just throwing stuff out, out of left field all the time, and
weird as shit.
Super innovative, and
yeah,
or just just creating new stories and wackiness to it, and that's the cool aspect. Is like the storytelling. I think that's what draws a lot of people to Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Like I already too many things that I do very little of already. So it's like it's another thing.
Right.
But you watched some Loki, right, Kevin? Tomorrow's the series finale. This has been a really good show. I'm really impressed with all the shows though. Yeah. With Wanda, with Falcon, and I had no interest in Falcon originally, and then started watching it. I was hooked and loved how it went. And so even more so with Loki, I think it's phenomenal.
Let's just stop having Marvel movies and just have Marvel shows.
And I think Black Widow finally released, but it's like, just make a show. I want to watch a show.
Yeah. I kind of want to see it, although,
what do you think's gonna happen?
No, that might be a spoiler. Well, I said something to my coworker who's seen it, and she reacted in a way that makes me think a character that I really like is going to die immediately. So I'm like, all right, well, thanks for that. She's bad at spoiling stuff with her face.
Where she can't put a poker face on.
No,
like,
there's no poker face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder at the end of the show, like what's going to happen? Who's going to survive? Can Tom Hiddleston's or this version of Loki, can he still exist even though the other one's dead? Is there another alternate reality he can go to and hang out and live forever?
Will Pillboi come back?
Yeah, Pillboi. He's hilarious. You know what? That's one thing that reminds me with Pillboi. He's the one who shows the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew a lot of people's minds. Like, okay, this place exists outside of the normal power that the Infinity Stones can have, but why not grab a handful of those, bounce, and then have Infinity Stones that you can use anywhere?
What people have been saying online, they think is that they only work in the universe that they came from. And since anyone that's here, their universe basically no longer exists. There's no one from the Prime timeline in this universe. So you have to go back to that universe that you diverged from, but that's been destroyed by those little bombs they set. Oh. So that's the theory on that. That being said, again, there's no whatever Vision Stone is. The Mind Stone, is it?
Yeah, I want to say.
That was absent from the drawer. I'm still saying Vision is somehow behind all of this.
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Absolutely.
But sure, why not?
That's, again, but they had the little scanner, and they make sure you walk through the scanner and said, are you an android?
Yeah,
you have to
that's
say
true.
no.
That's true.
So...
yeah, I wonder. And then the whole who's behind the TVA thing.
Right.
how does this entity been alive, been able to function when no one's known about it? Like even Loki from Asgard, he knows about everything.
Right.
You know, like he had no idea. Like how does this play into the whole scheme of things? But yeah, I think there's one point where what's his face, dude next to Loki, I'm forgetting his name, but he's eating a salad. And there was a TikTok that I watched because now I'm also fully involved in TikTok. But there's a TikTok of somebody connecting or just drawing too many conclusions. Mm-hmm. So they're showing him eating the salad, and it's like, wait, in Endgame, there's a point where Thor's mom tells him he should eat a salad. So does that mean they connect somehow? But it was a joke. But did you ever watch Endgame?
No.
God damn it! How are you watching these? I don't understand how your mind works.
I just happen to know who died.
Okay, god damn it.
I feel like that a lot of that got spoiled, so.
You have to, I mean, you have no time, but if you can watch at least some of the like essential ones before Endgame and then watch Endgame and the one before that, Infinity War, the payoffs in Endgame are nuts. Like some of the things that happen when you see them happen, it's just like the culmination of years of these movies, you know, existing. Me and Megan will watch Endgame every once in a while, and just like I still, you know, get choked up and like amped when some of the stuff happens at the very end, that last fight scene. It's just so fucking cool.
Sure.
But that only exists if you watch those original movies.
Right.
But you're like picking and choosing here.
I go for the good ones. That being said, I still haven't seen Winter Soldier, which
that
I
one's
hear
good.
is one of the best ones.
Yeah, a lot of the Captain Americas actually hold up. We even watched one of the notoriously shitty Marvel movies, Thor 2, and that one's not that bad while watching it again.
The first one is terrible. I can't.
What? The first one's great.
Go back and watch it.
Yeah,
we watch it. Wrong.
We watch it often. I mean, I haven't seen it in a good couple of years, but
yeah,
that one's cool. But it's also caught up in when that came out. It was one of the first big comic book movies, at least with Marvel doing it. That was also right next to like when Iron Man came out. So there's nostalgia there too. It's like the first time, but I'll give you some room on that. But no, Thor 1 is still really dope.
You know what? I actually started watching this weekend. It's an older movie. Have you ever seen Ring of Fire?
Is that with the dragons?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the movie being dope, and I'm hoping it still holds up.
It's so fucking dope. I forgot how scary McConaughey's character is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, because he's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like this crazy American commando. And he sells it all the way.
This was a movie, and it's like special in my mind because the Xbox original came out, so I had a DVD player, so I was able to rent my own movies at Hollywood or Blockbuster when we go as a family.
Yeah,
and I rented this because no one else wanted to watch it, and I could watch it in my room with a DVD player. And I was like, oh shit, but this movie was really cool.
It also has a very nice action to story. Like the story is barely there, but it's just enough to keep the action going.
Does the CG hold up? I remember being cool at the time.
Yeah, but they also don't really show the dragon much.
Gotcha, like a horror movie kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's essential. Yeah.
So
and then McConaughey's like jacked.
Yes. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever seen him that jacked for anything.
I think the shaved head gives you extra jack points too. Like it makes you that much more tougher looking. Like you look at Jeff Bezos when he shaved his head, he just looks cooler.
Or what's his name in that new movie? Who's J. Jonah Jameson and
what new movie is he in? Oh, in the Tomorrow War?
Yeah, the Tomorrow War.
I just seen from the trailer. Yeah, does he have a shaved head too?
Yeah, and he is just ripped to absolute shreds.
Really? For what? Oh, I guess he's playing like a soldier dude. Okay.
Well, I guess he's kind of normally ripped, and he may kind of tone it down for movies, or he's kind of covered up in movies, but they put it on full display here.
Rip it up, dude.
Is tendons and meat. That is all that's left.
I do see scenes from that movie he's in where he's a drumming instructor or something, and he's just beating the shit out of the one guy from Fantastic Four.
I can't even get myself to watch that trailer again. He's so terrifying.
Yeah, and I've just seen the scene where he's just like essentially just beating him over, not drumming fast enough or whatever. I want to watch this movie again. I remember it being cool.
It's free on Amazon, so that's why I watched it. It was like, I think it was new on Amazon. I was about to get in a workout. I'm like, fuck yes, let's get some blood pumping in here. Let's get the action going.
Hell yeah.
It holds up.
Nice.
So, well, we should probably talk about some games here.
Yeah, I got some game news. This big one. This is everyone's been excited for this. So this is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was announced today.
Hold on to your butts in case you rip your pants.
Yeah, hold on to those bikini butts. So Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl announced coming this fall to everything, PS4, PS5, Xbox. 20 level single player and multiplayer modes, local online co-op,
levels.
4 players, up to 4 players, developed by Ludosity and Fair Play Labs. So we're watching the trailer here.
I think that's hella cool. It has a single player. Also, these graphics are awesome.
Yeah, the art style looks really cool.
Whoa, it's like a weird like claymation-y kind of thing.
Right. And they have a bunch of properties, so they could actually have quite a bit of different fighters here.
This looks good.
I did see it was trending on Twitter, people trying to get the dad from the Genius Kid.
Goes to space.
Well, in the movie, but he's a boy genius. Jimmy Neutron, his dad, they wanted to get him in All-Star Brawl.
I remember.
He has a mustache.
No, I don't remember anything about him.
Well, we got Helga.
Oh, my girl. They couldn't have no, what was the bad guy in that? Roger Funny?
Oh, and, well, that's
Roger something.
that's in Doug, but yeah.
Well, they got Reptar, though. Ooh.
Some of these have switched to Disney, though. I wonder if they can get everybody, or what they currently own.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. It looks fun. I bet we could pick this up and have a boatload of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And put it down a week later.
Yeah, no, I think more companies that own quite a bit of well-known characters just do this.
Yeah.
Like Sony tried and they gave up, pretty quickly with their Battle All-Stars or Battle Royale All-Stars, something like that.
Which is too bad because it was good. I bought it.
I know people dug it.
Yeah.
I never played it.
I did watch. I think it was kind of unfortunate watching the competitive scene. I think it came down to basically 3 fighters. One was like Nathan Drake, and he would just throw barrels at you the whole time.
Okay.
And then it would typically be him versus Sweet Tooth, and so it's Nathan Drake trying to keep you at range, and then Sweet Tooth trying to get up in that ass, and that was it.
Gotcha.
But I thought it was fun.
I know they brought it to Vita, and that was about it.
This could be fun.
Yeah. Coming out this fall.
Gonna get it? You're gonna be first in line?
I'm gonna be first in line.
Do you think your nephew... Now, a lot of these cartoon characters are kind of older. Do you think your nephew would like this
That's an interesting point because these are all nostalgic for us. These are characters from like the 90s, 2000s, but kids now, unless it's Naruto or whatever, or Dragon Ball Z, it's like they don't care.
Now, the thing I really want to see out of this is for it to become... I watched this web, I forget, argument over Shrek... Brawl Stars or something like that.
That was a game?
It was back on the GameCube,
okay.
I believe.
Brawl Stars?
I don't know. What the fuck was it called?
I'm going to look up Shrek fighting game, maybe?
Yeah. And basically how...
Shrek Super Slam?
Shrek Super Slam. Oh, that's the video right there. How definitely go out and watch Action Esports talking about Shrek Super Slam. Basically... this game was so fucking broken.
Oh, no.
So fucking broken that they were actually able to replicate some of the really cool techniques from Smash, like wave dashing and other stuff. And this actually accumulated a decent-sized fighting game scene. So that's what I want. I want broken to bits fighting game scene for this ludicrous game that has no business.
Now, was the fighting scene developed after they fixed the bugs or
no
because of the bugs?
No, this was GameCube, buddy. There's no fixing these bugs.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This is you got no patches.
Is it because of the 3D aspect of it? It's almost like they wanted to do the Brawl style, but it's like 3D and not 2.5D or whatever.
Well, to me, like the 3D is more. What's that game for the Dreamcast called?
Yeah, you brought it up
Power
a while
Stone.
ago. Yeah,
Which Power Stone came first? That was before Smash Brothers, or so I've been told. But yeah, I guess the people who are good at this, you can do like 100 move combos. Like you can super combo these people. There's a lot of techniques. So it got kind of all over the place. So that's what I want for Nickelodeon All Stars. Oh wow, that was cool.
They should do this with Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, or more games. We need more 3D brawlers. We have no 3D brawlers.
Yeah, that is a genre that's kind of gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
But is it because there's just better ways of doing it, or you think that there's a market here? There's
I
something here.
No, I imagine part of it is, at this perspective, depth is incredibly hard to tell.
Yeah, I think that's also why they have that icon below everybody, showing like where you're gonna go, where you are.
Oh, he's got the fart staff. Oh, it
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this still was a game. That's pretty cool.
was a meme.
Gotcha. Well, Gavin, going down the list of news, we got Company of Heroes 3 was announced today, and there's a demo, apparently. So Relic Entertainment and Sega have announced Company of Heroes 3 due out in late 2022 for PC, and there's some gameplay.
Sweet. Have you ever played a Company of Heroes or a Dawn of War game?
I have not. I know I've heard of Company of Heroes. I think people are excited, but the whole role-playing thing, or like not the role-playing, the RTS style, just never called out to me.
So that's actually why I liked. So Company of Heroes 2, rather than handling like a bajillion units, you handle like a handful of squads.
Okay.
And they actually brought that into Dawn of War 2, which I love. Dawn of War 2. You have like maybe 4 squads, and so you're just controlling the squads as a whole, and then you do abilities as a whole. So it really kind of simplified the RTS aspect, and I thought made it super playable if you're terrible at, you know, hopping around the screens, doing 1,000, you know, clicks per second.
Yeah.
This was extremely playable. I don't know. I know the last Company of Heroes wasn't well received, so I don't know. Hopefully it's a little more Dawn of War-y, but I don't know. And they're also known for their destruction.
Gotcha.
Cool line of sight system. So,
it looks really pretty.
yeah. Hopefully the fans get what they want, and me personally, I hope it's more like Company of Heroes 1 or Dawn of War 2.
Gotcha. But yeah, they just announced this today, and there is a demo apparently that you can go home and try this out.
I did hear issues with the demo, like you need to go register on a web page to do it, and I think there were issues either doing it on Firefox or Chrome. I think it was Firefox.
Oh,
So,
gotcha. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's happening.
yeah.
That is happening. We got the next one here, Gavaroni, as I scroll and lose my mouse. We got Ghostwire Tokyo was delayed today to early 2022. So here's a little blurb from IGN. Announced on Twitter, developer Tango Gameworks thanked fans for their patience and promised to show more of the supernatural action game in the coming months. Our new release window will give us the time to bring the world of Ghostwire to life as we've always envisioned it. Ghostwire Tokyo was previously set to launch for PS5 and PC this year. So we're getting a delay. And it's like, this is the year of delays because of Corona and everything happening.
I feel like everyone gets a pass.
Yeah, for sure. They did quote, the team anyways was quoting, just trying not to crunch as much as one of the reasons, which I think is also, you know, that's a positive when they can do that. And they haven't shown anything for a while. Like this footage we're watching now, the trailer's from a year ago. So, you know, I think people are kind of seeing that as writing on the wall, that because fall is coming up and this is, you know, slated for fall. But I'm pretty stoked for this game. It looks really weird, really cool. It's from the makers of Evil Within. Looks really unique. This is one of PS5's. It was supposed to be one of their, you know, bangers for this year. They only have it exclusive for a year. They did reveal that it's going to come out to. No, I'm thinking of Deathloop. Deathloop was confirmed coming to Xbox a year later. But I imagine this will also do the same thing. But yeah,
I hope it's good. It looks cool.
it looks really cool. I love the, you know, the first person aspect to it, the weirdness. I do want to eventually go back and play Evil Within because people really love that series, but this looks more unique to me, more interesting.
Now, do you think you play Evil Within 1? Because I hear that one was...
Yeah, I always hear about Evil Within 2. Like,
Pretty-
that's the big one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I can like bridge the gap and, you know, I know weird stuff's happening. That's all I need to jump into Evil Within 2.
Right. Ew, that was cool.
Motorcycle stuff. Yeah.
Is
But
this... I
got
hope
delay
it's
on
coming to PC.
Yeah, it's still PC and PS5.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Sweet, sweet.
Next year.
Ah.
And then Deathloop, same. PS5, PC coming out.
Right. Which I forgot. I heard. Oh, they put out that new thing recently for Deathloop. I didn't watch the whole thing because I felt like it was heading into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were going to show the assassination of one of the people.
Mm.
And I want to see that. So I watched a little bit and I kind of buggered off. But the action looks good. Did you watch any of it?
No, we talked about that. I think it was last week. Yeah, I'm kind of on just hold watching any footage, but the footage I've seen of the gameplay, it looks really fun, chaotic, fast. It's all the like actiony parts of Dishonored when shit would hit the fan and you have to just fight everybody. It seems like it's that expanded upon, which sounds really cool. My TV's gonna turn off for some reason.
Oh.
It doesn't think we're using it.
Why TV? Are we not changing enough channels? Do you
Yeah,
do this with
there we go.
Netflix as well?
Yeah, strange. But transition into this next one here, Gavin. Psychonauts 2.
Some other hot Microsoft action here.
Yeah, we got Psychonauts 2 to feature an invincibility toggle, as all people should be able to enjoy games. This is from Adam Bankhurst of IGN. Double Fine shared this bit of news on Twitter in response to Xbox's Twitter saying that beating the game on the lowest difficulty is still beating the game. If you beat Psychonauts 2 with the invincibility toggle on, you still beat Psychonauts 2, Double Fine wrote. All people should be able to enjoy games, all ages, all possible needs. It's an ongoing and important process for our industry and challenge we need to meet. So yeah, that was just kind of in the headlines because they're revealing this invincibility mode.
Yeah.
Which it's positive. And I don't know, I've seen various people, not as much as you'd think on like Twitter and stuff, bagging on them for doing this. But I think overall people are ready for this kind of stuff to be, you know, a more standard option.
I mean, that's also not a hard one to do. So, I mean, that's pretty, it's definitely not as extreme as like all the crazy shit Last of Us 2 did.
Oh, with the accessibility options, yeah.
That is just
that is a lot of
crazy. But I mean, sorry to go ahead.
No, that was it. Just it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
What they did with Last of Us.
Yeah, and there's just so many things you don't think of until you put it out there. Like there were a bunch of things I think with what the newest like Super Mario 3D World where people just didn't think of these things. Like one thing people don't think about is like holding triggers down for an extended period of time. For some people, it's very hard to do.
Sure.
So it's lots of stuff, but good on them. That being said, this is almost the bare minimum, but also good for doing it at least.
Yeah, at least it lets everybody. So if you have various like things that limit you from controlling buttons and whatnot, it means that you can't die in the game. Then you can still play it in some capacity.
Yeah.
Although I go further and I say I want more of this in more games because I was big with Returnal, where I love that game. It's so cool, unique, and weird. But I can't play it because it's difficult, but like too difficult for me. So because it's a single player game, I don't see any problem with, if the developers can do it, if they're cool with it, giving me options to toggle stuff, because that only affects my gameplay. So what does it matter anybody else that, you know, I played on a quote unquote easy mode, or even the Demon Souls remake? Give me an easy mode there. How does that affect anybody else besides me playing my game alone in my room? But when you introduce that idea to people online, they freak out, and I'm not sure why. It's like it's almost like they're gatekeeping or whatever, and they want to keep their thing tight, you know, to them, like, oh, it's hard, only we can play it.
Right.
But even then, it's like, okay, have the trophies. Those are only locked, like, you can only lock a trophy if you do a run where it's like no hit, you play on the hardest difficulty. Keep that, that's fine, but let me at least play the game and toggle stuff how I want.
Or scoreboards. Like, scoreboards is a big one. Like, I love Spelunky, and I think Spelunky is better because it's inaccessibility, but I could see them putting in, you know, an invincibility mode or some of this other stuff and just saying, well, you can't put it on the scoreboard.
Right, and that's fair, and that's fine. It doesn't affect anybody.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't get it.
Or do a scoreboard just for them.
There you go.
Of course, that could lead to... Anyway.
I don't know. Yeah. It's strange to me that people care at all how somebody else plays a game, but at least good on them for doing this. This game looks really pretty. And it's going to be Game Pass, so I definitely am going to jump into it. It's August, I want to say, September, October. I know it's very soon, but they did announce a date on this. I'm sure you actually in this trailer, if I scroll to the end, we can actually find it.
Oh, probably. That Robocop.
August 25th.
Oh, boy.
So getting close to a month there.
Isn't that like 5 days after Deathloop? Everything's in perspective of Deathloop, right?
Yeah, I want to say Deathloop is October, so I think that's a little bit later. But yeah, we got our next one here, Gavin.
Make me sad.
What was that?
Never mind.
Okay. Veteran designer and Halo co-creator Marcus Leto decided to share some of the unused weapon assets from the original Halo. This is on Twitter. The original... Oh, I had that quote here. Okay, here we go. So just the original co-creator of Halo shared some stuff as he's going through the 2000 build and showing off some of the unused weapons they had.
And shoulder pads.
Yeah, so he did talk about, there's a bunch of tweets where the design for Master Chief changed because they originally were developing this for Mac, right? And so like they were showing this off at Macworld whatever year. And so it was also a third person at the time, but there was a bunch of stuff that they just left on the table.
They got a cool microwave gun. Interesting.
Right.
They got some cool designs on these.
Yeah. See, with Bungie, like what their previous games that were successful were Marathon, and a lot of the same kind of design stuff carries over, but it's still super unique.
Yeah.
Which I've never played Marathon. I want to say that's still first person, right?
I don't even remember what it is. It's been so long since I've heard
think
about
it
it.
is.
It's the microwave gun we've got here. You
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not
microwave
sure if it's popping popcorn or what is it doing, but
it is not implemented. That is what it is.
that's what. Yeah, I know he does shoot someone. Oh, there's some kind of railgun thing. Yeah.
And that is basically the sniper rifle noise.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff that they ended up not using. But yeah, caught that online. Thought it was pretty neat. And we're still on just months away from the new Halo, apparently. So that's coming. This one was weird. So it's you mentioned wanting to jump into the hunt, and so some players have found Shrek's. As we were talking about Shrek earlier, found Shrek's house. So this is Jack Frags on Twitter.
Oh, Jack Frags, solid. He does solid Battlefield coverage. Great guy to listen to for that.
And as he ventures through, apparently, in this map, whatever map he's on. Yeah.
Wow.
1-for-1 Shrek house. For no reason, but it's awesome.
Nice little table out the front with a drink on it, and they've got the toilet up the stairs.
Yeah, no Shrek. The outhouse is there.
Unfortunately, I'm sure he's busy doing ogre things.
That's pretty dope. I imagine this map is swampy. Maybe that's why they went with it here.
I think they're all swampy.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I see is just swampy areas. But
I don't know if they have a non-swamp map.
Yeah, this is a game when it was first shown off, I was really interested in it because the idea of competing with other people and having to kill the boss and other people that might have been just waiting for you to kill them to take the loot, but I just never really jumped in. And now I have a PC to play it, but just haven't tried it. I think it's on console now too.
Maybe. It's also stupid pretty.
Yeah. Was this one of the first ones? You might have mentioned that to me. They had ray tracing in there.
No, it didn't have ray tracing. It had their own version of the CryEngine's version of volumetric lighting. Which is it's done in a different way, but it looks fantastic. Gotcha. And people are saying like maybe if we combine this with modern RTX technology, we could have just this amazing lighting.
Megan in the chat says, "Get out of my swamp."
Out of my.
Oi, donkey. But yeah, as you mentioned, this guy playing Battlefield. I don't have the tweet pulled up, but I did see in the newest trailer there was that scene where they replicate jumping out of your plane for the newest Battlefield and then shooting the rocket, jumping back in your plane. Yeah. That same dude who coined that whole maneuver did that in Halo. So he did the Warthog jump where he throws a grenade, the Warthog flies in the air, he's in it, he jumps out, shoots another ship, jumps back in the Warthog and falls down. And it's awesome. I don't know how many tries it took.
That surprises me that works because I feel like it just take off without you because I feel like you slow down pretty
well. It's just a stationary Warthog. You throw the grenade. I think it's like Halo 2 the physics work where you can do that, or Halo 1. And then it just shoots it up if you plan it right, and then it goes like really far, and then he jumps out, rocket launch, jumps back in. It's pretty dope.
People are nuts.
People are nuts, Gavin. Witcher 2 season 2 trailer. Now you finished Witcher 2, right? Or Witcher 1?
The TV show, yes.
TV show.
She also looks. She looks like she grew a ton between season 1 and season 2. It's almost like it was 2 years or something between seasons.
It was roughly, right?
Yeah.
Now, are you stoked for this return?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I really liked the last season. I hope this one's good. How you feeling on it?
I never finished the last season, but I think it was like maybe 3 episodes away. I know I didn't get to see that weird CG fight with the monster people complained about. I didn't get to that point. At some point midway through this first season that happens, but that's just my way of like remembering where I left off.
I feel like they're all. I feel like the CG is good for the most part, except for. So you said you stopped.
There's like a battle that happens that people didn't like.
Did you stop on the episode where they're hunting the dragons, trying to get the dragon eggs?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I remember the coin for the Witcher guy. But honestly, this is what like 2 years ago. I need to jump in and actually finish the season.
Yeah.
But,
go ahead.
Oh, just love me some Henry Cavill, so I do want to go back and watch this.
Yeah, you won't finish season 1.
I know. I need to finish season 1.
Well, to my understanding, at least with the games, is that I believe this girl Ciri or whatever her name is, Circe. I think in the games or maybe the books, he trains her to become a Witcher, even though she's different than him. Like he's chemically treated, whereas she's just a born witch.
Oh.
So that could be really cool. She could be like a super powerful Witcher. because I think they can only do limited magic, and she can like tear apart the fucking ground. So
Interesting. I know in Witcher 3, I've only played the first couple hours, but they start off explaining that you do train this Ciri girl
yeah,
and that she's pretty powerful. It seems like they're going to lean into that this season.
I have hopes. I have very high hopes. I also hope it's not another 2 years between seasons, because that was a long.
That might have been because of Corona, but also this stuff takes time to make.
Well, I think it cut before Corona, and I think they said at the time when it cut that it was going to be 2 years.
Oh, gotcha.
If I recall correctly. So that was.
At the same time, as much as I want a lot of these shows to like be pretty speedy, it does take time, and I want them to figure it out. And although when it's edited, it's like, or when it's filmed, it's filmed. But like maybe the editing is what's key to like making sure things work the right way.
But I'm impatient, damn it! I can barely wait
Same
a week
here.
between episodes of Loki.
Yeah, same here.
Or God forbid the boys. That was excruciating.
Megan said, "Coin for the Witcher guy is what killed it for me." He was annoying. I don't know if he becomes more redeemable throughout the show, or if he at least faces like a really horrible death, then I'm cool with that.
You just get used to him.
Okay, great. He doesn't have some kind of story arc where you're like, actually, I'm rooting for this guy.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, there's no mention of him in this trailer, so I don't know if he survives or
Yeah.
he's still hanging around.
It seems so, but I think he kind of fucked off at one point, so I'm sure he'll come back.
See, when this show was first announced, I did have a big void in my life of Game of Thrones stuff, and I was hoping that would fill that gap, and it kind of can, but I just didn't stick on with it, and I should revisit it. It's also like, do I have to go back to episode 1? Can I just jump into season 3 or 4, wherever I left off?
So you have to start at 1, otherwise it's not going to make sense.
It might be a no.
Well, there's a very specific reason why you have to start at 1. You need this.
I remember the time is wonky.
Oh, okay, you already know. Yeah, so you have to see it in order to know what's not in order.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, they showed that off today. I know there was a WitcherCon apparently where they had a bunch of Witcher announcements. One of them was in Witcher 3. They're adding some Geralt's or Henry Cavill's Geralt to Witcher 3, like his character model, stuff like that, into Witcher 3, the game.
I don't know how I feel about that, because I really like that Geralt character model in the Witcher games.
He's cool, but also Henry Cavill. It's like, how are you gonna not do that?
True. And I think they did more stuff for Gwent, which it still blows my mind. Like, we have a friend, Tyler.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm on Steam, I see him constantly playing Gwent.
Really? He's the one guy? I mean, I know it like sells millions and does really well, but I never hear about anybody playing it. But he's the guy.
I guess it's a really good game, because he's a really good gamer. This was the guy that would. I think he got a natural nuke in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Damn. Okay.
So it's strange to see a guy that's just like in League. He was always top of League, so he's like a super good Twitch gamer.
Yeah. Maybe that's how he's decompressing, and that's his
totally could be
his comfort food.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep Gwent is. I know people love it, so maybe it's really dope. But it's just like I hear card game, and it's like I just tap out. Walk away.
Well, the thing that kills me is it's a CCG, and I'm just like, I don't want to build decks. Just like I like deck builders. I don't like collectible card games.
Gotcha.
And that difference is huge to me.
It's a big deal, and I always think about this at night, like which one's better. But
yeah,
we'll digress from that. So we got some news here about Assassin's Creed, Gavin. Assassin's Creed Infinity is a live service platform connecting future games. Scroll here to transition.
That sounds like
I love when my mouse
Assassin's
just
Creed.
disappears. That's cool. This is from Tom Phillips, a Eurogamer. The future of Assassin's Creed will be underpinned by a new live service platform which ties multiple individual games together, Bloomberg has reported. Named Assassin's Creed Infinity, it's developed by teams at both Ubisoft Montreal, Unity, Origins, Valhalla, and Ubisoft Quebec. Syndicate, Odyssey, Quebec will now lead development, a change for the franchise.
Megan did ask of the new Witcher game if they can add the pump action arms.
Yes, that is. He needs to do that in every movie he's in. Like, I want to see Superman do that.
Or pump action arm guns.
Yeah.
This is the way to put that.
Like an action figure. Now, it's super early on. They just announced that, and Ubisoft has confirmed that they're doing this, but the live service aspect of Assassin's Creed, how do you feel about, at least on paper, what this could be?
I wonder if this is sort of the next, because ever since that one they did in like Rome or whatever, they've been a lot more open worldy, a lot more loot based. I don't know. It seems like they kind of edged their way over here to these more combat, less assassin-y games.
And does a live service mean that it's going to be free to play and you're just going to have these content updates every couple of months?
Not necessarily. That could be like Destiny wasn't free to play, but
True.
you had to buy like a season pass, and they keep coming out with new plot lines and new equipment and armor for you to grind. So it sounds like the newer games are kind of grindy enough. I don't know if you want more grind.
And they have a lot of DLC. Like they're supporting Valhalla for a year at least since launched.
Oh, sure.
So are they just going to lean into that more? Like do a smaller base level of the game and go for 2-3 years in this Infinity version?
I think you're the closest to a live service gamer out of both of us, because you played some Destiny for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've played any more recent Assassin's Creed games.
No.
How's this spackling your hot dog?
My shorts? It doesn't. I don't know anything about these things. I played Destiny. I played the single player and I pieced out. So I'm not the big multiplayer fan, or, like I'm just not in the trenches with a lot of these fans when it comes to live service stuff. The closest, I guess, would maybe be Fortnite, but I don't know if that even classifies as that kind of thing. There is, there's content updates. It feels like that's live service, right?
That definitely counts. But I mean, that's definitely different than a game of this style.
Sure.
But yeah, that definitely counts.
That's what I mean. If I'm the kind of person where if I do enjoy the core gameplay, I've got the first entry, whatever it is, I'll jump in every once in a while and play the different updates. So this doesn't rub me the wrong way. I've still have yet to play Valhalla. It looked really cool to me. I was just waiting for a sale or some kind of deal, or maybe just get this on PC. But this doesn't strike me as a negative. I think it comes down to when they launch it, how are they going to implement like the nickel and diming? Like, how are they going to charge people? Is it going to be predatory? As long as they can manage that, maybe people won't be as upset. And if they do this in addition to their dedicated single player worlds, that are just the standard kind of Assassin's Creed that we've gotten the past couple of years, then that could be cool. But it seems like they could risk fucking it all up by changing the mantra, because they kind of brought this franchise back from fatigue by changing it up these past couple of years. So if they throw that out the window, that could be bad. But if they change it enough or create two different things so it can, strike whatever players want to jump into, then that could be a success. But I'm not sure.
Or hear me out. We make it in very much Ubisoft style fashion. We make it now about a game about hundreds of Vikings biking or snowboarding down a hill at the exact same time, or wingsuiting.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
They could just shield surf down.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
And just pillage on the way down. Do whatever they do.
I was watching a little bit of a Breath of the Wild speed run this week, because it was, I think, AGDQ or SGDQ. And that weird trick they do where they bounce off an enemy's head and fly 1,000 miles.
Whoa, nice.
Still blows my mind every single time I see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of glitches and stuff people take advantage of that's, common in when people speedrun, like phasing through walls, that kind of thing. But also just playing with the physics themselves, you can do like insane things. There's a moon jump, I want to say it's called, where you just kind of infinitely jump in the air. People can master.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole of stuff. But yes,
insanity.
Well, again, we got our next one here about the Mortal Kombat franchise, or at least about NetherRealm. NetherRealm starts work on new game, ends DLC support for Mortal Kombat 11. It's from Matt TM Kim of IGN.
They're saying Guardians of the Galaxy 3 over here.
This is the reference here. I'll get to that, guy.
Oh, okay.
Calm your little head. Okay. NetherRealm took to Twitter to announce that it has started work on its next project. As a result, there'll be no further DLC for Mortal Kombat 11. In a tweet, the Chicago-based studio has announced that it is now focused on its next project. What is this project? NetherRealm hasn't announced it, but the studio is primarily known for either Mortal Kombat or the Injustice series, a fighting game based on the darker version of the DC Comics universe. So I have this tweet pulled up that is only interesting because people have theorized what are they going to work on next. For some reason, Ed Boon retweeted this in reference to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So he says, wow, James Gunn has managed to work on DC and Marvel movies. That's impressive, with a thinking emoji. Is that too much to say, like, hey, we're going to try and do DC versus Marvel? This seems insane to me, but the internet took this and ran with it.
Well, I mean, you also have to remember they made DC versus Mortal Kombat.
They did.
So this could be their reference to say, oh, we did DC and now we're going to do Mortal Kombat.
Now, one of the other news outlets had referenced that WB Games owns NetherRealm. So, and WB is tied with DC. I want to say they even own DC. So the idea of them working with Marvel seems like that already puts it to bed. But if anybody could make a really cool fighting game merging two properties together, it would be NetherRealm. So, and Marvel does like to let other studios work on stuff. So maybe it could be done if they just want to. They made that deal with Sony to have Spider-Man in the MCU. So maybe they can do something like this to make a dope game. I don't know.
Or do Marvel versus Mortal Kombat.
Or Marvel, yeah. I was gonna say Marvel versus Capcom could be a cool idea, but that's already been done.
Yeah. I've been done a few times.
A little
Now
bit.
that being said, un-video game related, but I think isn't Suicide Squad 2 coming out next month?
It's very soon. I want to say that comes to the streaming service too, to HBO Now.
So
Yes,
it
it looks really cool. It looks really fun, weird. What do you think NetherRealm does next? Do you think they go to work on Injustice 3, another Mortal Kombat, something completely different? What do you think they do?
I mean, their pattern has been Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Injustice,
But for
Mortal
like
Kombat.
10 years now.
Yeah. God, I just don't. I think we may be in for a surprise here. It'd be weird if it was Mortal Kombat versus Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know if that can fly, or it's gonna be the same watered down version of like Mortal Kombat versus DC. Like, so they'd have to do a watered down version.
Maybe Avengers. I don't know.
Or do they do something out of left field that's not just the standard fighting style? Maybe it's like fighting focus, but it's some other kind of like open world adventure thing.
Sure. Or maybe just Avengers. Just it's a fighting game with just the Avengers.
Ooh, there was Avengers where they fought each other. What's the name of the movie? It was a Captain America movie.
Oh, Civil War?
Civil War.
Just
Avengers Civil War.
Could be a Civil War game.
It could be dope. And you have enough, at least in the comics, it was pretty much everybody fighting each other. So you could still pull from all those. That's assuming they could actually work with Marvel to do something like that. But it could be dope.
That could be fun. And people still complain that the characters don't look like the people in the movie.
Yeah, that kind of stuff happens.
People
What
always
can you do?
Yeah.
Gavin, we're at the end of our news stories. You want to throw anything else out there?
I don't think I have anything. Evo's coming back, I guess, this year. Did we mention that?
Oh, no, you had told me that in my dreams, but I forgot. Evo 2020. There was something
2021.
About... Yep, that's true. That one was, at home or something? Streamed?
Yeah.
Now, is this they're going back to an actual area live, or it's just streamed? Like
I believe so. And I did still get to watch, I think last week we talked about a little tiny bit about Xanadu happened. So we got to see some fighting games there. So they're starting to come back. That being said, I did love, there's a moment with a super annoying player, but it was kind of funny at the same time. His name, his fighting game name is Chad.
Okay.
And he came out to be a total Chad. As soon as he won, he ripped off his shirt. I was like, all right.
Stole your girl.
Your gimmick is complete. But so far, at least from what I've seen, they still have people wearing masks because they are pretty well packed in there. But yeah, I'll be curious to see. Hopefully we get it. Hopefully Delta doesn't wreck everyone's plans again.
I was going to say, Delta, got to watch them.
But
now I did see this floating around from different outlets too. So because Sony owns or has some kind of partnership with Evo, there's this patent going around. Sony patents PS5 online tournament system ahead of Evo 2021. This is from the website segmentnext.com. Sony Interactive Entertainment has apparently been working on an online tournament system, which will be using the PlayStation Network to track games and players in real time on PS5. According to a new patent published last week, the proposed online tournament integration will allow both developers and players, as well as the third-party organizers, to host tournaments in separate capacities. So without seeing like the blueprint of this, here's the actual patent. It seems like they're organizing a fighting tournament online, just through the actual like PS5s talking to each other, some other entity talking to or controlling the whole thing. But maybe trying to set up what Evo is trying to do, but letting like average people jump into the mix. I don't know. What does that patent look like to you?
well, I mean, the good thing is they got PC and PlayStation on the same network, which, as we know, Sony fucking hates to do.
They'll work with PC. They will not work with Xbox, but yeah.
They got the public network,
This is techno
which
jargon.
everyone can jump onto. Then you got the gaming network, which connects to, I assume, those three computers in that triangle. I assume that's supposed to be the equivalent of like a cloud system or just multiple servers handling all that. So your API, your statistics, and your processing ranking. So yeah, you could do a tournament. I feel like that technology is already here. So good luck with your patent.
Interesting. Yeah, they have to be doing something new. What about lag when you're playing like this? And then especially fighting tournaments, it's like it's got to be pinpoint and.
It really depends on the game. Some games, a lot of like for fighting games, especially, the gold standard is rollback netcode, which I can only partially explain how it works.
Even if you could, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but the games that do it, people absolutely love and adore. The games that don't, people demand it. So rollback netcode is a really big one. And the nice thing about that too is it's so good is that people who've only played online can come and show up to an in-person tournament and crush.
Okay.
But if you don't have it, that transition from online to in-person is really rough.
Interesting.
But yeah, this just seems like they're using a cloud network to handle rankings and maybe handle some of the seeding a little better and do, you know, a bracket system. But that being said, I can pop into Smash Brothers right now and I think join like a 64-person tournament.
Okay.
So good luck with your patent.
They have lures and stuff, so there must be like something, some niche, some like area that they're creating that doesn't have a patent for. I don't know. I can't see that and understand why.
I mean, are they saying they're adding matchmaking? Because that's also
right. That's what everything runs on, right?
I don't
know how the internet works, but
I don't know. Good luck. I mean,
thing.
patent lawyers or the people that pass these patents oftentimes don't know enough about gaming electronics, the internet and stuff to really stop these things from going through.
The schematic's already done. It's already set in stone.
Yeah.
That's all the work.
You got pooters with Peters and you give them to the Triforce
in the chat.
And there's an API connects the games to the public.
Sounds good to me.
Sweet.
I'll take your patent money, please. But yeah, that's going down, Evo. Pretty cool. Gav, we're at our hour's time. We can end it there for the week. How do you feel about that?
I think that sounds good.
All right, where can they find you online? We can actually end this week and not have the power go out. That's pretty cool.
Oh, there we go. That's we're moving up in the world. Moving up in the world. You can find me on Twitter at Drunk Devs.
Awesome. You keep up the show as well on Twitter at Plastic Heart Pod. That's it for us this week. I'm going to clean my dog's poop on the carpet that we found. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.